Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mental Health Awareness Initiative, and today we have a very sweet guest with us, Mrs. Sweetie Jain from Mumbai. She is a psychologist and a school counselor. Welcome to the show, Mrs. Sweetie.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you for calling me sweet. I don't know whether I should be considered in that way. Yes, I have been working in mental health field for 10 years, but working with children and working as a school counselor is almost 7 years of my journey. And I have been dealing with children from all age groups, like from nursery to class 12, and even college students, because I teach psychology to them also. So apart from teaching, I do counseling to them as well. So there I have encountered a variety of cases and experiences with them, with different age group and different thinking, different mentality, different developmental age groups. So yes, and I do conduct workshops also, not only for the students but for also the parents, because I feel that dealing with students is more than dealing with parents. Their role is like a lot, and it plays an important role, because without parents, we are the second parents, the third parents, teachers are the second parents, but the primary caregiver, we cannot take that place. So their role is very important. So I conduct workshop for them so that they can understand better how to deal and help their children to grow with the help of a teacher, definitely. And I also conduct workshop for the teachers as well as for the employees and staff, because as we see that education is a holistic thing. So only teacher cannot play an important role in the development of a child in school. So as a whole, we all need to give in something for a development of a child to become a human being. So yes.
When you mentioned about teachers, these days the teachers are really undergoing a lot of mental, let's say not stress part, but it's beyond that now. It's exhaustion actually. What do you say? How do you take mental health aspect when you are dealing with everyone?
The thing is, like as you said, the teachers really, it's a very challenging situation, because when we talk about screen time for the children, we don't give screen time, we don't think about screen time for the teachers, because we all are individuals, we need mental peace and rest. Because like as we see that yes, our brain is in we talk about artificial intelligence, so that computer also needs some rest. So as a human being, our computer of our brain mind also need rest. But unfortunately, due to this pandemic, we are not getting, because everything is online, everything is on screen. As a teacher, we are spending a lot of time teaching, we are spending a lot of time upgrading ourselves. We have all our work which we used to do physically is all on internet. So we are spending almost 10 to 12 hours on screen, and that is definitely a big task. As well as being a teacher, whether you are a lady or whether you are a male, both is having a lot of herculean tasks, because you have to maintain household work also. You cannot vent out your emotions, because sometimes when we go out in school, we can vent out, this thing is happening, this child is doing this management is saying this, in what way we can handle. But we are not able to vent out these things now physically. Everything is like completely in boundaries. So definitely is a huge and big challenge for everyone.
So the teachers, all the listeners around, in this category would love to hear from you how to cope, especially then we can move on further to the children aspect and, general aspect. But the teachers do need special space. And I personally feel hats off to all the teaching staff globally.
Definitely.
They're doing amazing work.
Definitely.
Something for them from
Definitely.
you.
Really, I really appreciate each and every teacher, Some few days back only it happened, like in the school which I am working, one of the teacher of grade 5, she called me up and said, ma'am, I have a child to refer for counseling. So I said, definitely, ma'am. So she told me that the child is having behavioral issues and he's getting aggressive. He doesn't want to put the camera on. But then she told me that how she handled the child, how she handled the child. Like she personally had a talk with the child. She called up the child. She spent some time. Like she said, I interacted with the child personally on personal levels. I asked him what he's liking, what he's not liking. So I really appreciate the teacher that she took that effort. Rather than referring to me beforehand, she took that effort and she interacted with the kid beforehand. So I really do this small things which teachers do for the children is really appreciable. And what they are doing in this pandemic situation, they are keep, because we as a counselors and mental health, we are coming secondary because primarily the teachers are facing. So they are the warriors. Yeah. So they are facing first. They are dealing. If they see it's not happening and it's beyond control, then they refer to us that, ma'am, this is the problem. So that is what I appreciate, that they don't give up, that never give up attitude, and the love and unconditional support towards a child, even whatever they are facing and whatever constraints they are having, hindrances they are having, they are doing it. It's really commendable.
So how, one quick tip if you have to give to the teachers to take care of themselves?
Yes. What I believe is like self care and self meditation is very important, because see, there are things which is not in our control. So we can control our actions, because being in pandemic, we cannot go out. It's not possible. We don't know when we are going to go for a physical class. We don't know. It's very uncertain. So we cannot control the uncertainty. But what we can do is like we can start taking care of ourselves. We cannot control the work hours given to us. We cannot control that, but we can do what? We can meditate. We can do some deep breathing exercises, which will help us to, you think, no, I am not able to, like I'm getting tired, mentally tired. Just try to boost yourself. Say some good positive affirmations to yourself. Do certain good yoga or certain type of activities which will keep you, like which will give you happiness. That you can do. Especially what I suggest, doing mandala is very good exercise. Very good exercise, because it keeps us mentally as well as emotionally healthy. So that
Yes.
small things which we can do.
Okay. That would really be nice if the listeners right now, especially in the teaching staff category, they can listen and absorb to what you have said, to do self-care, especially to go in for the self-care
Yes.
part.
Yes,
That is
because the thing
important.
is like you need to take care of yourself. Until and unless you won't be able to take care of yourself, you won't be able to give that, you won't be able to impart that particular care to others.
So
And
it's a
as we
chain
say,
reaction.
you need to love. Yes, it's a chain reaction. It's a vicious cycle.
True. And you were talking about the adolescent and the young age group. What do you think is the mental health status right now in that age group?
Definitely it's taking a toll, because children are missing school, because everybody needs physical environment. So it is taking a lot. It is really challenging for the adolescent, because this is the age where children go into a lot of storm, andari andar. They feel that inside there's a lot of hurricane is going on, and they are undergoing a lot of changes, emotional change, you say, physical change, you say, like psychological change, whatever. So as they are going through a lot of changes, their mood swings are happening. There are a
True.
lot of complications which they are facing, which they are not able to express, which they used to express when they used to meet their friends physically. They used to share, which they are not able to do right now. So these challenges they are meeting, because they don't know whether they are going to meet them or not, when they're going to meet them physically. That particular apprehension is also working now for adolescent, because that uncertainty is working, that if somebody in my family will get ill, will get sick. So that kind of uncertainty and fear is also working at the back of the mind.
Right.
So these things are really taking a toll in adolescent health. And the way they deal with the emotional feelings physically, they're not able to do that, because they are not able to channelize now. The option of channelizing the energy, the option of channelizing the emotion has been stopped. Because as a counselor, we used to say that if you're getting very angry, just go for a jog, just go for, like we used to suggest parents also, and like engage, ask your child and engage him or her in certain kind of outdoor activities like cricket, football, or any kind of other outdoor activities which will help them to channelize their energy. But this is not happening right now, not possible, because of this pandemic. So definitely somewhere or the other it is hampering.
What would you recommend them?
What I recommend is, like, there are a lot of things small things which we can recommend to the adolescent group actually. Like, first, you need to vent out your emotion. That is very, very important. You cannot keep your emotion inside. And because emotion is very basic, we get angry on certain times. We definitely, it is very, very natural. So I can't say that you don't get angry. You're not supposed to get angry. I can't say that. It will be wrong. So what we can do, if you are getting very emotionally stirred up, if you're getting angry, if you want to cry, if you want to say something, if you're feeling happy, take it out, but in a constructive way. Maybe you can do certain kind of journaling, you can do certain kind of doodling, you can do certain kind of, writing, poetry, stories, whatever. You can just vent out your anger. If you are very angry, you can vent out your anger punching the pillow, or you can write something and just clear the paper. So in this way you can vent out your emotions. So should not, like, hide or suppress your emotions in any way. If you are feeling whatever, take it out. And definitely meditation does help a lot, uh, which includes mindfulness practice, like deep breathing. You count your breathing, you control your breathing. Try to focus on your breath when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out. So try to focus on that. So you need to learn mindfulness exercise. It's very, very helpful, because it helps you to cool down and calm your emotions and mind. And as well as it helps you out to ooze out all your negativity from your body. It really helps out, because I have already done that with a lot of students, and it is very, very helpful. Next you can do is figure eight breathing is also there, which is almost type of mindfulness. When you are imagining an eight figure and you are breathing in, breathing out, and then
Right.
when you're breathing in, you smell the flower, and when you are breathing out, you blow it like a candle, that you're blowing out the candle. So breathe out. So when you're breathing in, smell like you're smelling a flower, and breathe out like means blowing a candle. So you can practice figure eight breathing also. You can also go engage into five sense, like, you are feeling and sensing five senses of yours. Like, suppose you imagine that you have gone to a beach with your parents or with your family. Now try to engage all your five senses, like two things what you have seen when you have gone to the beach, two things what you hear, like sound of a waves, sound of birds chirping, anything, any two things. So one is two things you see, one is two things what you hear, auditory, two things which you feel, you're feeling the cold breeze, so you can feel that. Two things which you smell of a sand, smell of trees, so that you can. And two things which you taste. So try to focus on your five senses. So when you're focusing on your five senses, that means you are trying to engage with yourself, because being engaged with yourself is very, very important. So when you're doing that, you are getting distracted by the other things, which is really hampering you somewhere. Like suppose you have a fight with your parents. So if you practice this, so you will be distracted. Oh, I had a fight with my parents. Oh, acha, I forgot. So you'll be distracted in here. So try to focus into that. So these things can be very helpful for the adolescent. Next, what you can do is like, sometimes we take very small things very seriously. So when somebody makes a fun of us, so we say, oh, you are saying like this thing to me. Okay, I'm getting very angry. So try to be jovial. Try to laugh at yourself. Oh my God, how can I do this funny thing? Okay, I can be so funny. So if you're doing certain things wrong, so don't take it. Oh my God, how can I do this wrong? Take it in a positive way. So laugh at yourself. That is very important because it will help you to grow self acceptance. Accepting yourself in whatever way you are, because adolescent period is the period where you have this acceptance issue. You try to search yourself. Who am I? That identity formation is happening. So, who am I will help you to accept, yes, whoever you are, whether you are fat, whether you are thin, whether you're black, whether you are curly, whether whatever, you are what you are. And be happy and satisfied. To love yourself will help you to accept your body as well as accept your behavior, whatever you are doing. That will help you to come out of your guilt, because guilt feeling is very bad.
That is true. That takes another dimension altogether. But then you have very, you've put up or packaged the idea very nicely. So everyone who is at home and battling with themselves alone, so they should realize their own importance, who am I, and try to work it out and get a little more positive the way by following the techniques that you have said, especially the beach part. Everyone is missing that beach part. So I'm
Yes.
sure they can relive the moment and experience that smile part. At least that'll be excellent. That's really very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
No,
Yeah.
that is great. And any experience you had since a year wherein you had, felt the brunt, and how did you cope?
Like, see, the thing is, like, definitely when you're working with a field of mental health, there's a lot of challenges because you need to explain to the child, and before that, you need to explain to the parents. So, thing is, like, I had one issue I want to share. There was a boy of class 8 who came up to me, and the issue was he was having a lot of problem in academics. He was having a lot of problem because into some kind of activity, sexual activities, you would say. So he came up to me that, ma'am, because I am engaged into these kind of activities, I'm not able to channelize my energy due to pandemic. So as you suggest that, ma'am, we need to exercise, we need to go out. If I'm feeling this kind of emotion inside me, try to distract yourself, which I'm not able to do that. So in what way I can keep myself mentally healthy, and how can I come out of the guilt? Because of this thing, because of the guilt, when I get into sexual activity, I feel that something bad is going to happen to me, and I feel ashamed of myself. So how to do that? So definitely there was a challenge, because when we say that, yes, go into physical kind of activity outside so that you can be distracted, get engaged into certain kind of activity, which is not possible. So in what way? So I told him, you do one thing. Whenever you are having this thought of getting engaged into any kind of activity, any kind of sexual activity, you try to do push-ups, or just try to go for a jog in your society. If you can go for a jogging, just go immediately, or just try to sit and relax at one point of time. Just think of these any kind of positive things which you have already experienced in your life. Try to think about positive affirmation about yourself, how you feel about yourself, because we need to get rid of the guilt feeling. because we have been taught that you are not supposed to think about this, and which really gives and induces guilt feeling in all of us. So you need to think positive affirmation and positive things about yourself. Next, what I suggested is, whenever you have that urge, you do one thing: you go and help your parents in their household activities. Whether you are a boy or girl, if you're going to help your mother in household activities, it will work in two ways. One, you will be getting distracted, and secondly, that gap, because in adolescent we see that there is a gap between a parent and the child. There has a communication gap. They get into a lot of conflicts, they get into a lot of fights, lot of misunderstanding, because the children think that my parents doesn't understand me. So if you are going to engage into any kind of household activities, your parents will be very happy that yes, you are helping. So that communication gap will be bridged, as well as you will be getting distracted. So you can do and engage yourself in these kind of activities when outside activities is blocked. So try to search for activities which is there around you, because we have small activities to do around us. We can just sit with a family and talk about certain things, certain issues. We can discuss about them. We can help our father also in certain kind of things which they need, or we can just help them cleaning the house also. So small things, if we can engage ourselves, it will help in all the ways, physically as well as it will keep us mentally healthy.
So that is very, a nice way that you have shared through your experience. I'm sure people will benefit out of it. It's like making the best out of whatever you are. You have the facility around you to engage in a very good way, in a very interactive way, to communicate also. One more last question before we wind off is like, what do you suggest the parents can do to help their small kids, in coping? Any activity which you can say, because kids are, of course, kids, and the parents need to be calmer. We all say, but they are also handling a lot. And related to kids, what would you suggest for parents?
If we talk about kids like age group of less than 10, then what I suggest is, like, first of all, you try to engage yourself with the kid. Don't just guide. Okay, you play this, you play Ludo. Don't do that. Don't guide or don't instruct. If suppose, like, first you make a timetable of your kid. First, you make set certain goals every day for the kid. To set 3 to 4 goals, that's it. And don't set goals alone. So don't be dominating as a parent, be a friend rather than being a parent. So do one thing: the parents can sit with the children. It may be of all age groups. They can sit with the children in the morning, at the start before starting the day, and then they can decide, okay, what we are going to do today. So they can make two type of goals. One is I goal, and when one is us goal or we goal. In I goal, it will be particular for the kid. They can make 3 to 4 goals. Like, suppose they are going to study one subject. Other, they are going to practice maths. Third, they are going to help the mother in the household chores. And fourth, maybe they are going to help the grandparents or anyone. So these kind of 4 goals. And we goal will be, we are going to have family dinner together. We are going to play Ludo for half an hour together. We are going to watch half an hour TV together. So these are we goals. So when we are making this goal together, the child will feel that, yes, I am also wanted. So that
Mhm.
is a very like important thing which we need to keep in mind. Secondly, whenever you are playing, try to just engage yourself with the kid. That is only for the kid. Even if you're giving half an hour, that half an hour should only be for the kid. No mobile phones for the parents as well. As the no mobile phones for the children, that they should not be taking mobile phones for the whole time. The same goes for parents. No friends, nothing. So make sure that timetable is, when you're finished with all your household chores and everything, that 5 to 5:30 or 5:30 to 6:30 is only for me and my child. I will not entertain anyone. That should be the mantra for the parents. So it should be like that. Thirdly, that communication, that trust need to be there between a parent and a child. So communicate with the child. If a child is showing any kind of aggressive aggression, or is not listening to you, or like back answering to you, try to communicate and say, okay, fine, I have heard about your complaints and everything. Now let us sit together and we are going to find a solution. So don't say that I am going to find a solution. We are going to find a solution. The child will be thinking that yes, my opinion also matters. So it is also taking, it is also been taking consideration of. So these things are very, very important to keep in mind. And last thing what I say is, like, suppose I have seen children, what I do usually in my counseling thing, when I ask the child to draw something, I don't only ask the child to draw, I also engage myself in drawing. Okay, chalo, I am coloring this mountain, you color this house. Okay, I am coloring orange, you color red. So try to engage in that way. So it will help a child, like that communication definitely is going to build up, and that relationship, that particular, when the child thinks, no, no, I've been misunderstood, that will not happen.
So I'm sure the parents will also benefit listening to you, how to, keep the momentum on, interaction on at this time when everyone is at home. So taking care of this, and it will actually, what I feel after listening to you, it will also de-stress them also when they are sitting calmly. So it's like their time also wherein they can interact without engaging in other activities. It's a beautiful thing that you have shared. And it will be amazing if everyone starts following it as per your advice. It's amazing, actually. I can feel the energy, and I'm sure the listeners will also feel the energy.
Thank you
Definitely.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure that if I can help in certain way, because I want that everyone should be aware, like why mental health is also very important. Because yeah, being physically healthy is definitely important, but both are correlated. If you're not mentally healthy, you won't be physically healthy as well.
Absolutely. You have just rightly connected both the things very nicely. And I'm sure people will now, if they, as this series is progressing, and every guest has some new thing to, bring on. And this will add on to their list.
Thank you. Thank you
Definitely.
so much. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for taking out your time, and great pleasure to listen from you, from your experience. It's a
Thank you.
learning experience for all of us.
Thank you
Thanks
so
once
much.
again. This was Sweetie Jain from Mumbai, and everyone take care. Hope to see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye. Thank you.